Hey guys, Scott here. Last night I watched a video by Coconut RTS, who's a great DBD content creator, and it was entitled "DBD Players Are Ruining Texas Chainsaw Massacre." Now, as you might know from my channel, I uploaded a video pretty recently about DBD being basically the boogeyman for Texas Chainsaw Massacre players, where every single problem in that game is because of DBD players not realizing that they're most likely looking in a mirror and they are DBD players. I'm willing to bet the vast majority of people that have checked out this game are DBD players or have played DBD at some point, so it was the whole, like, the call is coming from inside the house kind of joke. But I wanted to go over the whole discussion he made here. Basically, to summarize his video, it's putting blame on DBD players for bringing that competitive mindset, finding metas, the most optimal strats and stuff like that, bringing that mindset to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And because of that, when someone stokes that fire and someone brings that, the other side is going to want to learn to counter what they're bringing, and then we just have sweaty versus sweaty versus sweaty versus sweaty versus sweaty, and it's this sort of like never-ending cycle of people trying to out-meta each other because, no one really wants to lose. And so the people that started it are those sweaty DBD players that have come in here to, spread that, and because of that, it's going to put the game on a far less casual path than the developers intended, and that is a bad thing. That's the crux of the argument that Coconut was saying. So I want to go over a couple of points in his whole video. The first one is blaming Dead by Daylight players for this. I think that is very silly. Obviously, most of the player base for Texas Chainsaw is Dead by Daylight players, but to insinuate that Dead by Daylight players are the ones that are going to treat the game sweaty or play it optimally or find meta and stuff like that, I find that to be fairly ridiculous, because when Dead by Daylight launched, it was the exact same thing as Texas Chainsaw. It was people just dicking around, having casual fun. No one knew what they were doing. It was a very just whatever mishmash of just silly things happening. And that's exactly what is currently happening in Texas Chainsaw. However, quickly in Dead by Daylight, just like quickly in this game, people started realizing ways to abuse the game and break the balance of the game. And that caused people on the other side to get frustrated. So they sought out ways to get, ways to counter that. And then we have, what we currently have happening in Texas Chainsaw with people complaining about the rush meta. I mean, all the stuff that the game is currently having issues with right now. But I don't think that's a Dead by Daylight player problem. That's just a human nature problem. Because at the end of the day, in 2023, if someone is playing a game and you give them the option to lose the game or the option to win the game, they're going to choose win every single time. That's just basic human nature. It feels better winning than losing. I don't care if you're playing this or you're 6 years old playing hide and go seek. You still want to win a game when you start playing a game. And the only way that doesn't really apply is if you're solely playing with friends. I could see like playing Friday the 13th or playing Texas Chainsaw with, like 7 of your friends, and that's just all you guys hanging out, having a good time. That I can see, well, it doesn't really matter very much who wins, as long as you guys are just, drinking some beers and having fun. Even the developers of Texas Chainsaw said that's sort of what they envisioned. I think the exact quote was, you're just hanging out with your homies and just pretending you're in the game and stuff like that. And that, if what you're doing, then yeah, you don't have to try to win. You can still have fun not even winning because you're just sticking around with your friends. But for the vast majority of people that are not playing with 7 other friends, you're going to be playing with other people and you're not friends with them and they want to win and you want to win. It doesn't matter what game community you're a part of, where you came from. That's not a DBD player thing. That's just people like winning the end. There's no further discussion to be had in the topic. If you let people choose between winning and losing, they're going to choose winning every single time. And so when someone does stoke the fires at the start, which they have done already in this game, and they find things that are vastly increasing their chances of winning, that means the other side is having vastly increased chances of losing. So that they need to find something else to have increased chances of winning. And now we're in the meta of the current the game right now, Texas Chainsaw, where it's leaning towards more optimal sweaty strats and things like that. And that's just how games naturally go. I don't really think that's something you can ever fix. As long as there is an option where you have a player on one side and a player on the other side, both people are always going to want to try to win the game, and there's just basically no getting around that whatsoever. And here is, I think, a problem with what the developers have started with this game. This is a crucial mistake made by another company who made an asymmetrical game, and I'll let you see if you can figure out what it was. Now, the developers of Texas Chainsaw Massacre went on record that they said the game is supposed to be fun. The game is not supposed to be competitive. That's not the point of the game. The point of the game is to get in and have a blast and feel like you're living in the world of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I don't know if you guys ever saw that interview with the designers from Evolve, but that set off immense amount of red flags for me, where he said, the point of the game is not to win. It's not to beat each other. It's not to be better than the other side. The point of the game is to pretend you're in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I don't know if you guys remember that interview with the Evolve dev, but he said, a friend of mine very early said, the reason it works is because we're all role-playing Evolve. When someone on the team finally got tired of this and started playing to win, it all fell apart immediately and never recovered. And that is the issue having here. You can't have a game in which you have a particular way you want people to play in order for the game to be functional and balanced and have a good time for everybody, that people are just going to optimize the fun out of it. That's the quote you've heard a million times. People will optimize the fun out of every game given enough time, and that is what is going to happen. You can't design a game where you hope people just play all immersed and stuff like that. That's how Dead by Daylight was originally designed, and they found out over time that wasn't working because people optimized the fun out of it, got really fast at forming a meta, and so they leaned a bit more towards the competitive side, and now it's still the biggest asymmetrical game of all time, and it's still going strong, and it has no signs of really decreasing in the past couple of years. So whatever they're doing in DBD, despite people being super fed up with it, it's working for whatever reason, and every time there is an asymmetrical game that tries to have your whole systems be based on the fact that you pretend you're in that world, they end up failing. And that, I mean, this just, the data is there, the examples are there, what has succeeded and what has not succeeded. Will that happen with this game? I don't know. I don't know what the devs are going to do. It's totally possible that they fix a lot of the glaring issues with the game fairly quickly, and then the game is, more casual fun for a while, but then people find new things. And as long as the devs are on top of it, they might unfortunately realize they're starting to slowly just make the game kind of like Dead by Daylight, where community brings up issues that are hampering their fun and they want people to have fun, so they fix that issue. But now someone else finds another issue that's ruining their fun because of the other side, and now they have to start balancing. Before you know it, you're doing sort of competitive balance to make the game more fair to either side. I don't think you can have a game where it's just like, hey, let's just stick around with my friends and have fun and have it last a very long time, because most people don't have a large group of friends to play with every single time. And don't get me wrong, I had a ton of fun, even in Friday the 13th. Playing that game with a full lobby of people is a blast, and doing that in this game is also a blast. But that is not going to be the majority of your player base. The majority of your player base is just going to be playing with one or two friends or by themselves, and they are not going to have the experience that you wanted for them. So the whole point of DBD players ruining Texas Chainsaw Massacre because they're bringing their sweaty competitive mindset in, I think, is a bit of a cop-out. No matter what, if Dead by Daylight didn't exist, people would be doing the exact same thing. In any game with teabagging, for example, there will be teabagging. That's not brought in from Dead by Daylight. The only reason teabagging is seen as like toxic survivor mentality in Dead by Daylight is because killers can't do it. If they could, it would be an equal amount of shit flinging on both sides. In fact, it happened in this game. You see hitchhikers doing it all the time. In my opinion, you can't stop people from optimizing the fun out of the game. It's impossible. And to base your game off of hoping people don't do that, I think is a crucial mistake. But it's not the fault of DBD players. That's just human nature. People want to win. People are going to find the strategies to win, and there's nothing you can do to stop that except try to balance the things that they find over time and go with the flow instead of saying, well, we're just going to hope you continue to play the game the way we envisioned, and hope you don't end up like Evolve, because it's exactly what they did. Does that mean I think Texas Chainsaw is going to die anytime soon? No, I think they got a pretty good base. They have a good environment and atmosphere, and I think the game will not die for a while. I don't think it's going to remain popular for very long, but I don't think it's going to die like for many, many years. When I say die, I mean like, have lobbies to fill. Like there's always going to be players to play in this game. But yeah, that's what I talk about. I think it's a bit unfair to blame DBD players for this. It's a combination of the developers having a bit of a naive mindset about the game, and also the fact that it's just human nature to want to win. It doesn't matter what game community you came from. People are going to want to win. They're going to optimize the fun out of the game no matter what. You got to roll with the flow. You got to roll with the punches or be left behind, in my opinion. But that's it. Thanks for watching.